Hello everyone, and welcome back to the garage. This is part 2 of the Gottlieb Jungle Queen pinball restoration series. In this video, we're going to fix the couple minor problems this machine still has, and then we will go about doing the cosmetic restoration of this machine, which will entail new rubbers, new LEDs, cleaning up the playfield, stripping everything down, and doing some other cleanup to make this game nice once again. So, let's get started. So as far as I can tell, this machine only has two minor issues that still need to be addressed. The first one is that on your last ball, the double bonus should automatically be given to you, and it actually does the double bonus when it counts down, but the light doesn't light up. And that's kind of odd because I know the light's not burned out, and if you want to get the double bonus on any other ball than the last ball, you have to roll down A, B, and C, and that will light your double bonus. But the funny thing is, if I do that, it'll actually light the light. So I'm not really sure what's going on, probably just a dirty switch somewhere. And the other issue is that I have never seen the shoot again light up. And I know this machine does give extra balls because I have tested that, and it does work. So let's go ahead and take a look at the schematic and see what is responsible for powering the double bonus light and the shoot again light. So the double bonus light is right there, and so that gets its power from a switch on the H relay. Then it goes through either a switch 4B or 5B, and that is on the double bonus relay. I've looked, and that powers the double bonus light. And the way the double bonus relay gets its power is when the player unit has stepped to light the ball 5 light, it goes through the ball adjustment plug on the underside of the playfield, through the closed switch 5B on the double bonus relay, and that will energize it. All right, I've gone ahead and started up the machine, so we are at ball 1 right now. So when you roll over A through C, this light should light up. So that's A, that's B, and that's C. So you can see we have our double bonus light, and so now when I drain the ball, you will hear it do 2 chimes for every light on the bonus wheel, so we'll get 6,000 points. So you heard 6 chimes there. So the double bonus is actually working. I'm going to go ahead and advance the machine to the end of ball 4. Okay, so we're at ball 4 right now, so I'm going to drain the ball. And it is now at ball 5, but we do not have our double bonus. Now here's the interesting thing. The double bonus will work if I actually had a bonus and then drain the ball. It would give me the double bonus, but watch what happens when I go through A through C again. The double bonus light comes on. So I don't think we're dealing with a dirty switch. I think we are dealing with a problem where the double bonus relay is not getting power when the player unit steps to ball 5. So we need to see what's going on in the chain of events there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to restart the machine, I'm going to advance it to ball 5, and we're going to open up the playfield and see if the double bonus relay is actually being energized. So in this game, the double bonus relay is on that relay stack right there. Oh, did you hear that? We got a relay on either this switch stack or the one right next to it that's got a dirty contact. You just heard it buzz. The double bonus relay is this one right here, and it looks like it is energized. So in this relay stack, we have the A relay, the B relay, the A, B, and C relay, the C relay, the double bonus relay, and the extra ball relay. So we'll have to look here as well, because that relay controls whether or not the shoot again light is lit. So first, let's look at our double bonus problem. I want to roll down rollovers A through C, and I want to see what these relays are doing, because this one is energized. So let's roll over A first. So you can see The A relay is now energized. I'll go through B, and now I will go through C. So our double bonus light is now lit. Now that's interesting that it's acting that way. It's acting normal. Where is the ABC relay? Is it going through the ABC relay to light that? Okay, I just took a brief look at the schematic again, and I know exactly what the problem is. The double bonus light can actually be lit by two different relays. So, it not only can it be lit by the double bonus relay, it can also be lit by the ABC relay. So, the double bonus is only lighting when the ABC relay goes down, because if we roll over A, B, and C, the ABC relay will go down and the double bonus will light up. So the reason that the double bonus is working and the double bonus light is not is because the double bonus relay is being energized so it can actually work, but the contact on it to light the light is not lighting the light. So we need to look at the double bonus relay. So I'll show you that on the schematic real quick. If we go down here to this list titled Sequence Bank, you can see contact 4B is part of the ABC sequence completed switches. So that's the ABC relay. And 5B is the double bonus relay. So if we go back up, you can see here that the double bonus light, if we trace it back, it can be lit by either 5B or 4B. So the contact on 4B is working, but 5B is not. So let's go ahead and take a look at the double bonus relay, because that is where contact 5B is. So to get better access to that relay stack, because it is all the way down on the backside of the playfield, we're going to take advantage of a feature that Gottlieb implemented in these machines to make it much easier. So right now we're in the state where the arm is holding up the playfield, but if we go ahead and put the arm back down, so underneath the playfield there are a couple metal tracks that the playfield is sitting on, but they're quite long, so it allows you to pull the playfield out about a foot. You can kind of see the tracks now, so it'll let you pull it out to there, and then you can take it and lift it like this, and it will lean against the back box. So now you have a lot more access to this part of the playfield, so you can very easily get to these relays and whatever else is under here. Well, I have found the problem. It is indeed on the double bonus relay right here. It is one of these switches on the left side. It's supposed to be closed when the relay is energized, and it is not closed. And I think you're just going to have to take my word for it, because I've tried to get a good camera angle on it, and I can't get it to where you can see that the switch is open. It's the bottommost switch. So when the relay is energized, it's in this position, but when it's reset, it goes up like that. So it's supposed to swap from open to closed on that bottom switch there, but actually looking at the switch, it does not change from being open. It's not closing. So I need to adjust that bottom blade, this blade right here. I need to adjust that so that it will actually close, and then the double bonus light should work. All right, I have fixed the switch on the double bonus relay, and I took a look at the extra ball relay too, and I found a misadjusted switch on it as well. So now I'm going to put the playfield back down, and we will see if both the double bonus light and the shoot again light work now. All right, I have the machine at ball 4, so I'm going to drain the ball, and we'll see if the double bonus lights up. Oh, it still doesn't. Okay, well, let's take a look at that relay again. Oh, okay, it's a dirty contact. Well, I opened up the playfield, and then this light started flickering. This is the double bonus light. So it's a dirty contact plus a misadjusted switch. And it's probably that switch that I just adjusted. So let me go ahead and clean that up, and then it should work, because as you can see, it's trying to work. Well, it seems like it's good now. If I lift the relay, it goes off. If I let it go back down, it comes on. So So after cleaning that, it looks like it's good now. And to test the extra ball relay, let me go ahead and just move that up a little bit. So I will go ahead and manually energize the extra ball relay. The machine is in game over, so it's not going to actually do anything. But we're looking for this light to light up. There we go. There is the shoot again light. That's the first time that it has lit. So it looks like we have fixed both of the problems. So I'm going to go ahead and reset the machine, and we'll see if we can get it to work in an actual gameplay session. Okay, so it does work, but the relay takes a second to energize. So there we go. Double bonus light is now lit. So now what we need to do to test the extra ball is we need to knock down all of the drop targets so that we can light the extra ball at the top kickout holes. So the extra ball is lit at the left kickout hole, but you can alternate which hole has the extra ball lit. And I imagine it's a 10-point switch because that's usually what makes these kind of features alternate. Let's see. No. Is it an in lane? No. What makes it alternate? Well, let's just go ahead and test and see if the shoot again light will actually light when I try to get an extra ball. And it does. So there we go. Now we have the light lit. And so now when I drain the ball, we're at ball 5. So we'll get our double bonus, but the game should not end this time. It should give me one more ball. And yes, it did. It is still at ball 5. So now, if I go ahead and drain the ball, now it should go to game over, which it just did. So the game is now 100% mechanically working. I think all of the switches are adjusted now, but one thing I do want to do again is I want to start it. And I want to see if I can light the extra ball at this hole. Okay, so it still lit the extra ball at the left hole. What alternates it? Because obviously there's something on the play field that is supposed to alternate where the extra ball is lit at. Okay, so this actually might be a problem because I'm looking at the schematic here, and the extra ball lights and the special lights are alternated via a make-break switch on the A relay. So let's see what the A relay is. The A relay is called the alternating relay. So the alternating relay is right here, and if we follow that back, we have a make-break switch 3B, and then another make-break switch FS. The FS switch is on the 0 to 90 unit, which controls which match light you see at the end of the game. 3B is a switch on the C rollover relay. So it seems like the extra ball should alternate when you go down the C rollover as well as when you hit a 10-point switch. Okay, I lied. It's not a 10-point switch that makes the 0 to 90 unit move around. If we take a look at the schematic, there's the 0 to 90 unit relay coil, and if we follow it back, it's a switch labeled C, and if we look down here at the legend, C is the center pop bumper relay. So it's the center bumper that makes the 0 to 90 unit move. So this is the 0 to 90 unit, and there's another one of these little switches on the other side. I'm going to hit the center pop bumper, and that should move around. And yes, it does. So that little switch that's turning controls which match light you see at the end of the game. So we know that the 0 to 90 unit is working. I haven't cleaned it, so I'll go ahead and clean up the contacts on there. But we need to also look at the alternating relay under the playfield. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. That's a huge tell. That relay that we've been hearing making those clicky sounds the whole time, that's the alternating relay, because as you can see, look at what it's doing. Look at the lights. So to access the alternating relay, we have to open up the playfield entirely so that it leans up against the back box. The alternating relay is right here. So what I'm going to do is clean up all the contacts on that relay, make sure they are all adjusted correctly, and we'll see if the game will alternate after I clean it up. Well, I took a look at the alternating relay and I cleaned all of its contacts, and I did not see any that were out of adjustment. So I have knocked all of the drop targets down, and you will see that that relay was not the problem, because the C rollover should alternate this, and it did not. And the center bumper triggers the 0 to 90 unit, which should also alternate it. And as you can see, it does not. So now we need to take a look at the switch on the 0 to 90 unit. All right, so here's the 0 to 90 unit, and you can see there are some switches on the inside of it. And if I go ahead and push the center pop bumper, you will see these switches right here swap position. So you can see those inner switches there are moving. Now, what I noticed is that the switch right now is closed, but watch what happens if I put a little bit of pressure on it. Just listen. That is triggering the alternating relay, and it's making the extra ball and special lights flicker. It's trying to alternate when I push that switch. So obviously we have a dirty connection on the make-break switch that's in there. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up these internal switches, and we'll see if our problem goes away. And just to show you on the playfield what it's doing when I hit the switch like that, watch the special and extra ball lights on either hole. See how it's trying to alternate there? So that's how I know that that's the problem. And after cleaning, I'm gonna go ahead and knock down the last drop target. So the extra ball is there. So let's see what happens now when I do this. Okay, I still need to clean it. It is still having some trouble. Okay, I'm gonna do something that you shouldn't do unless you know exactly what you're doing. I'm gonna go ahead and bridge the two connections for that switch. Okay, that is it, because I'm bridging them with my metal file, and it is making the relay switch. Don't do that unless you know exactly what you're doing, but I just wanted to do that test just to make sure that that is the switch I need to clean, and it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean that up until it works. All right, I ended up removing the switch stack from the match unit so I could actually get in there and clean it really good. So I'm gonna knock down the last drop target, and let's see where the extra ball is. So it's on the left side, so if I hit the bumper, it should go to the right side. There it is. There we go. And you can't see it, but the extra ball is now lit on this side, and if I hit the bumper, it should go to the left out lane, but I think the light's out. Yeah, because you can see the light went off, and I think it should be lit here now. We can figure that out if I go down the out lane and the shoot again light lights up. It does. So this light is burned out. So the alternating relay is working now, and it was due to a switch on the 0 to 90 unit. So if you don't have the schematic for your game, it can be hard to find out what the problem is because it's on a unit that's unrelated to the actual thing that's happening. So I've gone ahead and drained the ball, and I lit the extra ball light again. Let's go down the C rollover and see if it alternates. And it does. So there aren't any problems on the C rollover relay either. So I think now this game is 100% working. There we go. Now it lit up. So the double bonus light is now working as well. I just need to clean up that switch a little bit more on the double bonus relay. So I believe at this point, Jungle Queen is now 100% mechanically working. All the score reels are fine, all the playfield features are working, it's awarding specials, it's awarding extra balls, and everything seems like it is all good now. So let's get started on the second phase of this restoration, which is the cosmetic restoration. So the cosmetic restoration of this machine is going to involve replacing all the rubbers, upgrading all the bulbs to warm white LEDs, stripping down the playfield and removing everything so it can be all cleaned up and waxed, and replacing some parts that I found that need to be replaced. But one thing I also wanted to do is replace both of these cards because this one's missing. This is the one that would show your replay values. And the instruction card is a badly made photocopy. The resolution of the text is very low. You can easily tell it's not original. And the font has been scaled down a little bit too much. You can see they just cut out the card so that it would fit. So I went online and I tried to look for some cards, and I found both cards for here and they are much better. So I printed them off on nice glossy photo paper and I cut them to the exact size. Here's our new instruction card. The text basically looks like it's the original card, so it's going to look much better when I put this card into the apron. And I made a couple cards for the replay values. Here's the one I'm going to use. So the one that I found had different replay values here, so I removed them with my photo editor and I put different values here, and I tried to get the font to match what the original numbers were, and I think I got pretty darn close. And I also put the word custom down here. There was a little number that indicated which card it was. I just put custom because it's a card that I made myself. And I also printed off a second card without any replay values, so in case I wanted to change them, I could do that very easily in the future. So these will be our new cards for the apron after I'm done taking apart the machine and cleaning it up. So I think they look very nice. So since I'm still waiting on some parts for the playfield, before I go ahead and disassemble that, let's go ahead and do some backbox maintenance. So there's a few things I want to do back here. I want to take out all of the score reels and clean them up, clean the reels and the little tracks that they write on. I want to clean up the 0 to 90 unit because I noticed it was having some contact problems, and I just want to clean up this back box to make it look a little bit nicer. And then after I'm done doing that, we can go ahead and replace the bulbs with LEDs, and the back box should be nice and bright. So let's get started. So servicing the score reels on one of these machines is really pretty easy. All you have to do to pull it out, you can see it's secure in there now, but if you take this plastic clip and pull it back, it'll just slide right out, and there is one of your score reel assemblies. So here's what one of these Gottlieb score reels looks like. You can see Gottlieb calls these decagon units, and that's just because of their shape. You can see there's the reel right there. We have a little circuit board on this side, and if I turn it up this way, you can see there's the coil that advances the reel. We have some switches there, and those are the ones you have to make sure they're adjusted properly. And Gottlieb is nice. They tell you exactly what each of those switches does, so it makes it easy to figure that out. And when these score reels move, you can see right in there, there's two little wipers in there, and those rub on contacts on the back side of this little board here. So to take the board out, it looks like there's just a little C-clip here to remove, and then you can take the board out after you remove those two screws. So pretty easy to service, it looks like. So what I'm going to be doing is taking all of these out and cleaning them up because they're a little bit dirty, especially the Player 1 reels. So I'll clean these up. I'll clean up the contacts on the little board there, and those should operate nice and smooth because I did notice that the Player 2 reels were having a little bit of trouble when scoring. So I'm just going to go ahead and clean all these up, and they should be nice and free after that. And there's what it looks like with all cleaned up score reels. You can see, looks much better. And when I was putting them back in, I stepped each one of them to 1 and then did a reset on the machine just to see if they would all reset, and they all do. So all the score reels are adjusted correctly. So let's go ahead and do some work inside the back box now, because it needs a little bit more work than just putting LEDs in it and calling it good. So if we lower the backboard down, there's a little bit of work that needs to be done inside here as well. We need to replace the foam that acts as a cushion between the credit unit and the glass because it's degrading quite a lot. And the same goes for the little pieces of foam up in the corners that protect the backglass. Those need to be replaced. Those pieces will be a little easier to get to because I can just unscrew those metal pieces. But as far as that foam is concerned, I might have to remove the backglass in order to get to that. And as you can see on the backboard, we have little pieces of foam here that protect the wood from touching the glass. There's one right there in the middle, and then there's 2 more down at the bottom. But some of it's missing because I can tell there used to be some pieces up here, and probably one over there as well. So these need to get replaced, and I'll probably just put little strips of Velcro up there since I don't have any rubber or foam padding that's that thin. So I'll do that, and I think there's a couple other spots where it's missing too, like on the sides, because you can see there's some marks on the sides of the back glass. So I'm probably gonna put a little more padding in this machine than what I had from the factory, just so that I can protect this back glass because it's already got some paint flaking off. So I'll go ahead and get that done, and I'll probably end up removing the back glass just to make it a little bit easier of a process. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started doing that. All right, the internals for the back box have been completely removed. The only things remaining are the little release lever and then these 2 little things that support the sides of the back glass. So you can see how dirty the inside of the head is. We had to remove a couple of the connectors that were on this part of the panel so that the head unit could come out. So you can see just how much dirt is in there. There's also some degrading foam that has fallen down into the little crack there. So I'm gonna go ahead and vacuum this up, clean it up, and it should look a lot better. And then we can work on cleaning up the back glass, replacing the foam, and getting the head unit to look nice and good again. All right, so I've situated the backboard to where I could work on the front of it without it being in the machine, so it can be easier to get access to it. So you can see here's what the front of this looks like now. So what I'm gonna do now is replace all of the missing foam strips that were on the top of the backboard with just some Velcro pieces, and I'll probably put some on the sides of the board as well, just to make sure the back glass is as protected as it can be. And then I'll go ahead and clean up these little dummy zeros and then replace the light bulbs with warm white LEDs. All right, I've gone ahead and replaced all of the padding on the front of the backboard. You can see now we have Velcro strips across the top of it now. And I've also gone ahead and put some additional padding in places where I noticed it was rubbing pretty hard, like right here, right there, and I put a few on the sides as well. I also went ahead and replaced the original foam that was on the bottom and right here because it was degrading and I didn't know that. So all of the padding has been replaced with little soft Velcro strips. And I've already gone ahead and started putting some LEDs in here, as you can see, but I ran into a problem in doing that. You can see on this particular backboard, they didn't do a great job making the holes for the light sockets. So there's all this extra wood that is surrounding the holes, as you can see, and that wood is catching on the LEDs and it makes it so I can't put them in there. So what I'm going to be doing is taking a little razor blade to each one of those sockets and cutting out all that excess wood, because there's some that I could not get to go in these top holes either. I got most of them, so I don't have to do a ton of woodwork, but I am going to have to cut out some wood around those sockets so I can get all the LEDs in. Well, that didn't take too long. I was able to get the wood around the edges of the rest of the sockets off, so now this thing has all warm white LEDs. The reason why this socket doesn't have a LED in it is because it's bad. The little spring that's supposed to be inside the socket is missing. So for that one, I'm going to have to actually replace the light socket, and I don't have any, so I'll have to order some. But other than that, this thing now has all LEDs in it. And so it is ready to go back in the machine. And it is back in the machine. Let's go ahead and see how it looks with the power on. Ooh, look at how bright that is. I don't know if it's as easy to tell on camera, but wow, that backglass is a lot brighter than I thought it was going to be. So yeah, that is definitely much brighter than it was before. That is a huge upgrade. You can see the game over light is actually visible now. It's not super dim looking like it was before. The score reels are much brighter. The Jungle Queen and her tiger are much brighter. I think it looks a lot better. And I also decided that I'd put just a little bit of animation into this backglass. I put a very fast blinking 455 light bulb right there at the top of the volcano, so it looked like it was actually erupting. And I think from the factory it had a 455 light bulb there, because I saw in the schematic that when it goes to game over, it also gives power to a flashing light. So you can see it's flashing right now, but watch when I start the game. It turns that light off. So that is the flashing light that they're referring to in the schematic. So it had a flashing bulb there from the factory, and so I guess they turn it off when the game is playing just so it doesn't distract you. So I think that looks much better with that there. Gives this backglass a little bit of life. So now it is time to work on the playfield. The playfield on this machine is already pretty nice. Here is a before shot. So you can see it looks pretty nice. There are some things that need to be done to it though. For one, this pop bumper cap is broken on one side, so that will need to be replaced. I'm also going to replace the actual bumper itself because as you can see there's some paint loss on it. So this is going to get replaced with a new one. The red ones are in much better condition. There's a tiny bit of paint loss on these, but I'm going to leave them because they are fine. I'm also going to be replacing all of the little rubber caps that cover the screws. These just pop off to uncover the screw that holds in the plastic. And these are all basically as hard as a rock and cracking, so I ordered some more of these and I'll be replacing them all. You can see the ones up on the top here, they just put little playfield rubbers up here because whoever did this last didn't have enough of these. So I'm going to replace these with the proper rubber cap. And I'm also going to be replacing some of the white plastic playfield posts because I noticed that some of them were not original and some of them were the wrong size. Right here we have one of the original posts and it kind of has more of a jeweled look. It's not 100% round. You can see it's been carved out to look kind of like a jewel. But if we look at the posts on this little plastic here, you can see they are not jeweled. They're just a generic replacement post. And you can see this one is shorter than this one. So they used the incorrect size. So I'm gonna go through and replace all of those non-jeweled posts because there's multiple of those posts in here. And I'm also gonna see if I can make this top white metal piece look better. You can see there used to be some sticker or tape here, and so it's kind of ripped off some of the paint. So I'll see if I can get this looking better, and then basically all it needs after that is just a little bit of cleanup and then a wax job on the playfield. So this is gonna be a very simple playfield to fix because there's not a lot wrong with it. I suppose I could replace the drop targets because as you can see, some of them are a little bit worn, but I don't have any replacement drop targets at the moment, so I'm going to leave those in because they're still in reasonably good shape. The ones on this side are a little less worn, and so I don't think they need to be replaced right now, but that is something that I'll think about doing. But that's basically all the playfield needs. So let's work on the coin door first because there's several things that need to be taken care of. The first is we need to replace these with LEDs because we have a burned out light bulb here. We need to replace the sticker, take off this label for, I don't know what the reasoning was behind that. Need to put a new lock on it, clean the start button, see if we can adjust this coin rejection metal plate here because it's bent all out of shape. We need to adjust the coin mechanisms because they don't like to take coins. And I need to replace the foam on this side of the door. And another thing I noticed is that these wires are coming out of the door. They just have electrical tape over them. And I realized that this is for the little mechanism that prevents you from inserting coins into the machine when it's off. So there should be a little coil right here along with a metal rod that has two little smaller rods sticking out of it that will block the coin from going all the way through when the game is off. Instead, it will drop it down here into the rejection area. So that whole assembly is missing, and I'm not really worried about that because this is a home use machine now. It's not in a public location anymore, so I'm not going to worry about that, but I will see if I can kind of clean this up and not have these wires just dangling here, but we'll see how that goes. I'm also going to vacuum off this door because it's a little bit dirty. I will clean up the inside of the coin door here. You can see there's a lot of dirt around the borders of that. So let's go ahead and take care of this coin door and make it look a lot better than it does now. All right, so here are all the parts that we need to take a look at for the Jungle Queen's coin door. As you can see, a lot of it is very filthy. And this is why you need to remove the start button and clean it out because look how filthy the inside of the holder is. Very gross. Same with the start button. It's also very dusty. So that needs to get cleaned. I'll also need to pull out these red plastic pieces with the price signs, and those just come out if you remove 3 more screws on this bracket right here. These will be free to come out, so I can take those out and clean them up. The coin mechanisms also need some work because I was looking at them and they definitely need a little bit of lubricant because this mechanism here should rebound back very quickly. As you can see, it's kind of slow, definitely having a hard time. And this is why it doesn't like to take in coins, is because this part right here needs to be lubricated. So if I put a coin in, let's just see if it does it. And it did it that time. But I did notice that both of these mechanisms had trouble putting in coins. I'd have to hit the coin reject button a lot. So it works. Maybe that was the better one. Let's see about this one. Yeah, see how this one just got stuck right there? So obviously this one needs some, well, that doesn't need lubricant. This is how it's supposed to be. See how that comes right back up? That's how it should be. Maybe it's this that needs lubricant? Let me look inside. It is pretty dirty in there, so I'll definitely have to clean that out. Let's try it again. Yeah, it's getting stuck. Now there it worked. So obviously this was the less reliable one, so I'm going to be lubricating the both of these, cleaning them up, just so that you can actually put a quarter in them and have them work like that every time. So those are going to get looked at. I need to clean up the metal pieces for the coin rejection assembly. Well, here's one of the coin rejection pieces that I took off the door, and look how bent and out of shape it is inside here. It's in this orientation when it's in the door, so when you go in to get your coin, you push the door right here, and underneath the door, you can see it's quite bent out of shape. So I'll see if I can make that look a little bit better. And this piece, this is the actual tray. The coins will sit right here when they fall down in the rejection area. This piece is a little bit bent up too, so I'll see if I can straighten this out, clean all this up, and then it should look much better. So I'll go ahead and show you what this thing looks like after I'm finished. And so the coin door is done. Everything's been all cleaned up. It's all back together. It's got a new sticker here, so it looks much better. Put 2 LEDs for the price sign, so now they're nice and bright. It's got a new lock, so it can actually close itself now. If we go ahead and open it, we can see I've cleaned it up a little bit in here. I've taped these wires just kind of against the door, and I put some Scotch tape over the wire connections so they wouldn't touch anything metal on the door. So that's been cleaned up a bit. And when I was cleaning everything up, I noticed that this bottom piece was not all the way in, and this piece is a pain in the butt to get in. So it doesn't surprise me that the previous owner was struggling with that, but the nuts that hold it in were missing, so I replaced those. So now that is held in nice and tight. And I've also went ahead and lubricated the coin mechanisms, so now they are super reliable and they take coins every time. 1, 2, 3. It did not do that before with either mechanism. So here's the one on the left. 1, 2, 3. So those coin mechanisms are nice and reliable now. So with all of that done, the next thing is going to be restoring the playfield, doing all the rubbers and LEDs, replacing parts that need to be replaced, and just making it look as nice as it can be once again. And so that is it for part 2. We got a lot done. We did the entire back box of this game. It is all serviced and upgraded to LEDs, and I think it looks really nice. We figured out all the rest of the mechanical problems with this game, and we worked on the coin door to get that looking as good as it can get. So in part 3, we will do the playfield restoration and make it look great. So look forward to that, and I'll see you in my next video.